Anchors up, sales at full. Welcome to the Sloopcast. How you doing today, Kyle?
All right, Jared, how are you doing today?
Doing good, doing good. New tradition, good tradition. That was a good one. I can just tell that was a good one. And by tell, I mean I used my ears. That may have been the best one. It sounded good.
I don't get to hear it at all. I have to listen to the actual podcast. I never get to hear any of it.
Well, that's actually, why not? Questions for a different time. I don't know why you wouldn't be able to hear that. But yeah, Kyle, no Ohio State this week. So, this weekend. So this is our normal Wednesday episode. It's still going to go out on Wednesday. But there won't be a Thursday episode. But we are going to, like, you know, if you're like, hey, I want to listen to the Sloopcast on Saturday or on Thursdays, well, maybe just listen to half of this one, because we're going to spend some extra time on the tier list. We have 3 solid weeks of college football behind us, and we need to clean up the tier list. We need to spend a little extra time on the tier list, and we're going to get this thing sorted out. How's that feel, Kyle?
Yeah, sounds good.
Sloopcast is officially an ASMR pod now. Hey man, I'm down.
All right, let's get into it. Let's get into the tier list.
Where's new
here.
Kyle? Is that's funny. Kyle, don't you know the role? No. Don't, Kyle. The role of your children is to eventually replace you. That is their biological purpose. That's an inside joke from the Discord. But yeah, let's get started.
All right.
Jared's going to show up with really long fingernails next week.
A lot of discussion in our Discord, discord.thesloopcast.com, always be plugin, about who actually is now favored to win it all. After we've got 3 games under our belts, you could say, Jared.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to get a lot of hate and a lot of dislike.
Mm-hmm.
We are a quarter of the way through the regular season right now. 3 games. We've seen some teams here, and yeah, boo, exactly. Yeah, how do we grade the teams with 3 games under the belts here? And some of the teams have done what we think they have, and other teams not so much here. So some of the teams we thought that were favored to win it all: Texas, Oregon, Penn State.
Don't know why you're including Oregon in that sentence.
I'm just including them.
Okay. And
some of them just haven't done as well. And some have done a lot better than we thought. I mean, Florida State's the perfect example. Like,
yeah,
out of nowhere and up into the A tier.
So, I'm going to. I said this last week. I was turned down by Kyle. He did not want to entertain this last week. I'm gonna try again.
Sure.
I don't believe that LSU, Penn State, or Texas have a good enough offense to be considered S tier.
All right.
They are among the teams at the top, and I'm going to include Georgia in on this, but Georgia's already in A tier, so they can stay where they are, whose offenses just simply right now are not good enough.
Okay.
And Austin says that since we talked about this in the Discord server earlier, he has changed his mind and he now agrees with me.
Okay.
So there you go. I convinced Austin. Can I convince you?
So you're just saying because they don't have a good offense, they can't win it all.
I believe
right?
Miami is well-rounded. I'm saying they're not favorites to win it all. It's a long season. Their offenses might get better as the season goes. What I'm saying right now is that Oregon's a complete team, relatively. Ohio State's a complete team. Miami's a complete team, or at least they look like it. Keep in mind, they are year 1 Jim Knowles, too. I mean, yeah, they're... Listen, they'll play Oregon next week. We'll find out what it looks like when they play against the real offense. Penn State has really only played cupcakes to this point and have, quite frankly, eventually like their talent takes over, but they've struggled in the first half of those games. Not that it was ever really in doubt they were going to win, but yeah, I don't know. It's just, and again, it's a long season. They might get better, and if they get better, we can reevaluate. But right now, I think LSU, Texas, and Penn State don't have good enough offenses to be listed among the favorites, when I think we have Oregon, Ohio State, and Miami that feel much more complete right now.
Okay. So Penn State currently ranked 19th in points per game offensively.
Who have they played?
But granted, yes, I was getting there. Jared.
I'd also love to see like a by half breakdown, because they kind of pour on some points against some really undermatched teams in the second halves.
Yeah, not going to be able to get that for you though, Jared. Texas tied for 91st. Granted, they played Ohio State, where they only scored 7 points. And then LSU, Jared, where do you think they rank?
You go ahead and just tell me.
Out of 134 teams, where do you think they're ranked?
Offensively?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
75th.
Nope.
Worse?
108th.
Yeah. They've also played a much higher level of competition. LSU has played two, relatively tough games. If we're talking about teams playing MAC schools and Sunbelt schools, as, not that Florida's all that good, but they're still an SEC school. Notre Dame, not Notre Dame. Who is their other big one? Clemson. That's right. That was the other big week one. Also not that good, but they're still a very talented team. It's not Western Kentucky is my point. Both of those teams have decent defenses. Yeah. So, I mean, their 100 and whatever it is you said is probably roughly on par with like Penn State's ranking, quite frankly. Adjusted for competition.
So I can get by with, for this week, I can get by with LSU going down to A tier. I'll let you have that. Let you have that. Penn State. So it's tough because when you're trying to compare LSU and Penn State, it really is. It's
LSU has played some real teams and Penn State has not.
Correct. Yeah. It's like you can't really compare them. You really can't. Yep. Brian Kelly versus James Franklin. Which one would you choose?
James Franklin.
I have a hard time, Jared. I'm gonna be honest. I'm having a hard time moving Penn State down to A tier. I really am.
How do you feel about Texas?
Yeah, I think right now, from what we've seen of Texas right now, they didn't have any offense against Ohio State, and honestly, against San Jose State, it was their defense. It was their defense that kept them in there, and then against UTEP, where they again didn't have that great of an offense too. They were just over 300 yards. I think it's like 330 yards against UTEP.
Yeah. This is my entire point, Kyle. Kyle, this is my entire point.
You can move Texas down to A tier. Yes. Until you prove me otherwise, which not going to this weekend. I don't care what you do to Sam Houston, Texas.
Sure.
That's not going to help anything. That's not going to help anything.
I'm just saying, I don't think these teams.
Following week.
I don't think Penn State's better than either of those teams. I think they're roughly the same as those two teams.
At least Penn State blew out all the teams that they should have beaten,
running up points in the second half.
I mean, look at take the hat off. Look at Ohio State. They
did that once against Ohio when they had a decisive win against number 1 Texas, who maybe shouldn't have been number 1, but still a very good football team. And then, they did exactly what they should have done against Grambling.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about one game for Ohio State versus an entire trend for Penn State.
So, I mean, in week 1, Penn State scored 27 points in the first half. I'm not going to sit here and say that's not good against Nevada. And scoring 27 points in one half is good. Okay. 27 points in one half is good. Now, yes, I'll give you like Villanova, right, where they. I'm sorry. I'll give you FIU, where they only scored like 10 points in the first half. Yeah, that's their worse one game Ohio, where it's like, yes, 10 points in one half where they looked sloppy and they didn't score enough points in the first half. Sure, that's their one game there.
All right, we'll move forward. I disagree, but we'll move forward. We spent a lot of time on that. Now we move to teams that are currently in A tier, but do they belong in A tier?
Okay.
First, let's talk about South Carolina. South Carolina is bad. Actually, like I think I called this one early. South Carolina, not actually good. In fact, I agree, Austin. But I never bought in. I thought the seller's hype was too much. So they just got run off the field by Vanderbilt. And they kind of had a stinker game against Virginia Tech in week 1, and we didn't necessarily know what that meant as far as, maybe Virginia Tech's actually kind of good, or maybe South Carolina's bad. Well, Virginia Tech is now 0-3, including a loss to I've just blanked on their name. They just recently joined the FC or the FBS a couple years ago. It's where the Indiana coach came from. God, I can't think of the name. Not James Madison. Was it James Madison? All right. No, it's the other one. ODU, Old Dominion. That's who it was. It was Old Dominion. Which is not where the Indiana coach came from. I get those two schools mixed up. We don't need to focus on it. Point is, Virginia Tech's actually really bad, which makes the South Carolina close call look really bad in retrospect. And of course, Virginia Tech is 0-3. And then, like I said, got absolutely run off the field by Vanderbilt. Granted, without Sellers, but Sellers has a head injury. They might be without Sellers for a while.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Duke/Monarchs, it's all Gentry. Exactly. Doesn't Gentry mean middle class? You know, it doesn't matter. That's not a thing to focus on. So
which one are we
South
talking
Carolina
about here, Jared?
South Carolina.
Okay.
I am fully out on South Carolina. They should at least go to B. Maybe we should even have a conversation about move them to
South Carolina to B tier.
All the way to C.
I'm good. See, I'm good with South Carolina going to B tier right now.
All right, we don't need to focus on it any more than that.
See how their quarterback does, but yeah, B tier for right now.
Cool. Notre Dame. What to do with Notre Dame? Notre Dame is now 0-2. Both of their losses are against very good opponents. Both of those losses were very close games. So I'm not saying Notre Dame is bad. Like I'll go ahead and say that like South Carolina's bad. I don't think Notre Dame is bad, but they have two very early losses. They have no opportunity in an auto bid because they are independent.
Yep.
And if you look at the rest of their schedule, there's not really an opportunity to.
They got currently of the current ranked teams in the AP poll, they only have one. And that's middle of October against USC.
USC, who is ranked 25th. That's
Correct,
their marquee.
Yeah.
That's their marquee win that they could maybe get later.
So it's a couple of things with Notre Dame. One, do you punish them severely for a 3-point loss to Miami, who we have in S tier, and a 1-point loss to Texas A&M, which
we might, who's currently in B tier, but we might move them to A tier.
I mean, how much should you really punish them for a 3-point loss and a 1-point loss?
It's a very interesting question. I'm not taking a hard stance on this.
But to your point too, where can they get the points, so to speak, getting them back up? Like we heard this all the time in the 2010s about Ohio State needing to win big. They need to look great. They need style points. Yeah. That's what Notre Dame has to do moving forward, and they need chaos, absolute chaos, to get in.
Now, the good news is that we have had a lot of early chaos in this season so far.
Sure. So by definition of what we have, S tier favorites to win, A, the rest of the top 12, B, outside the playoff bubble. They have to be put in B right now. They are on the outside, only 2 losses, but they are on the outside, and it's going to be very, very difficult for them to get back into A tier.
They need help.
But I think, they need help. And that's what outside the playoff bubble is. So B tier
that's a very good point,
the most appropriate spot to put Notre Dame right now.
Okay. So, all right, here's the issue. We need 5 conference. There is going to be 5 conference champions with auto qualifiers. Right now, it looks like the Big 12 and the AAC. Right now, we have 2 representatives, one from the Big 12, one from the AAC. South Florida gets 2 big upsets in week 1 and week 2, and then gets absolutely run off the field and humiliated against Miami.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, all they have to do is win the American and they're in. So really the conversation here is USF or Tulane. Unless you have a different 5th team, but I don't see a different 5th team to be talking about. Toledo, we can have a conversation about Toledo later. Yeah, they did lose to Kentucky. I don't see it being a MAC school anytime soon. Rutgers. So, I pose to you, Kyle. I'm going to let you pick USF or Tulane. Who do you like more? I guess chat also can throw some suggestions out there.
I mean, to me right now,
USF, Tulane, someone else.
To me, I think you got to go with the Green Wave.
Okay.
Green Wave in the A tier right now.
We'll see how that plays out. I have a feeling that might not be the last time we have a conversation where it's USF versus Tulane. Just a feeling that I have. Now,
what about the Pac-12 champ?
They don't have
not this year. Not when you lose 59-10 against North Texas, or that you lose 36-27 to Fresno State.
Yeah. Not this year.
No. Not this year.
The second conversation that I think we need to have would be, let's place those guys over there real quick. We have Utah versus Iowa State versus Texas Tech. Now, it is true that Utah and Texas Tech are playing each other this week, but I feel like it's the coward's way out to say, well, let's just wait and see who wins. That's a cowardly choice. I won't accept it. Who needs facts? Exactly.
Why not? Why have you not included Texas A&M? Just kind of curious.
Because they're not in the Big 12. We're having a Big 12 conversation. We'll get to the other spots later. We're having a Big 12 conversation right now.
Sure. Okay. I
am very curious and very interested in what Texas Tech is doing right now. I know that they have not played any quality opponents, but they have absolutely slapped the snot out of them.
Neither has Utah, but they play each other this weekend.
Yep. But we're not taking the coward's way out on that. I think Iowa State's bad. I know they have a win against Iowa. I don't know what to do with that right now. I don't know if I need to treat that like it's an impressive thing. I think they've looked incredibly unimpressive in all three of their wins. Do they have Michael Crabtree? They do not.
I guess if we're going to go with style points, I guess put the Red Raiders for this week. If we're going to go with style points.
I mean, vibes and style. It's still just week 3. Vibes and style points. It's kind of what we got in most cases.
So,
but as stated, Utah and Texas Tech do play each other, so maybe we swap that next week.
Okay.
All right. Currently, Kyle, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 teams currently in the top 2 tiers, which means we need 2 more. But do you want to do an ad break first?
Sure. Let's do a quick ad break here. The sloopcast.com is your go-to link for anything and everything Sloopcast related. There you can find our Patreon page. If you want to help Jared and I financially, you can head on over to patreon.thesloopcast.com. There you get over at thesloopcast.com. You can also find our Discord page, our YouTube, 7071 store, merch store, and much, much more. Again, that is thesloopcast.com. So we'll go ahead and take an ad break and be right back.
Wrong scene. There we go. Okay, Kyle, we have, I have selected 5 teams who I think
2 spots
for 2 spots.
Fun. Well,
yeah.
let's start with the easy ones, shall we, Jared?
Can I make a case for all 5?
Can I make a case for one of them?
Sure.
You can just move Alabama to B tier.
Alabama to B tier?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Alabama was beat decisively by Florida State, but they decisively beat Wisconsin, and they did what they should have done against Louisiana Monroe.
And Wisconsin is terrible. Let's not beat around the bush there.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, here's my case for Oklahoma.
Sure.
Decisive win over Michigan.
Yep.
And they beat 2 teams that they severely overmatched, but they beat them appropriately. I would say they had appropriate wins against appropriately bad teams. Illinois, their best win is against Duke, but they beat 2 overmatched teams the way you would expect them to. Indiana's best win is over Old Dominion, and they beat 2 teams. It's kind of the same, is the unfortunate thing. And then they beat 2 very overmatched teams, very, the way you would expect them to. Texas A&M, they pick up the win over Notre Dame. They beat University of Texas San Antonio and Utah State, I would say decisively, but also letting those 2 overmatched teams score a lot of points.
Sure.
So I think there's defensive concerns with Texas A&M, although they clearly have the best win of the bunch.
They do. They absolutely do. So here's my thoughts of these 5 teams. I mean, I already mentioned Alabama down to B tier. To me, it's no question here. They don't really have of these teams. They don't have a really good win, and have more losses than the others. So both of those combined together, I think is why Alabama is in B tier, looking in.
Sure.
To me, so there's 2 now of the 4. As much as I would love to put in Illinois and Indiana,
that you'd be.
I think I got to put in Oklahoma and Texas A&M.
Both of them
for the last 2 spots both of them, just because of their resume. And yet, yes, you can talk about how Texas A&M's defense hasn't looked all that great. But to me, I think Oklahoma is the easier choice of them. But yeah, I just until Illinois or Indiana can really wow me, which they haven't. They do play each other, yes. So yeah, they can move up, absolutely.
One of them is getting a signature win this weekend.
Yeah, one of them is getting a significant. Yeah, yes. So yeah, I think the winner may move up to A tier then after this weekend. Maybe we'll see. But I think this is the list here with A tier: Florida State, Georgia, LSU, Texas, Tulane, Texas Tech, Texas A&M, and Oklahoma.
I still think we should have moved Penn State down, but whatever. All right. Tennessee currently in B tier. They let Georgia come back and steal a win. And while I'm actually really impressed with Aguilar. In fact, I think he's an improvement over Nico. I really like their offense. Their defense kind of sucks.
Yeah.
There's no shame in losing a close game to Georgia. Now letting them back in after sort of clobbering them is not a great look. And again, their defense it just looks terrible.
Yeah. But here's the thing. I mean, Tennessee only has 1 loss, and looking back, they're at the end of the season going to look back. You're going to see, they lost by 3 to a potentially high ranking Georgia team, and if they do well the rest of the year, Mississippi State, Arkansas could beat Alabama, Kentucky, Florida, Vanderbilt, and maybe a win over Oklahoma. I mean, you're sitting there at 1 loss, theoretically.
But what I'm saying is that their defense is going to need to get a hell of a lot better if they want to achieve that.
Sure. But the long story of me getting to what I'm ultimately trying to say is, yeah, I think they still stay in B tier, move a little bit lower in B tier, but we don't order the B tier. In my mind, they slide down to B tier. They're still on the table. They're still at the table. They just are just sliding down right now, but stay in B tier.
Okay, Kyle. I've labeled this next section the case for M tier.
All right.
Clemson is 1-2. Their singular win was an ugly win against against Troy. Clemson was in fact losing 16-3 at halftime against a Troy team that is not very good. Their latest loss to Georgia Tech feels more like a trend than an upset. and it puts them in an early hole for the ACC.
So who were their losses to again, Jared?
LSU
Mm-hmm.
and Georgia Tech.
And did they lose by a lot to either of those teams?
No.
And how many losses do they have in conference?
1.
Okay.
But have you seen them play football? But Troy let them back in that game. Like, if you watch the Clemson-Troy game, on paper, it doesn't look horrendous, but on the field, they look terrible. Again, Troy really just let them back into that football game.
Mm-hmm.
16-3, they were down to Troy at halftime. And again, Troy is not good at football.
Very similar, in my mind, with Clemson. Very similar with Notre Dame. Not many opportunities for the rest of the season to really help them out. They do have the one game against Florida State, but the rest of the games, it's not helping them out. Like they don't have to play Miami. They don't have to play. I guess that's really it. They don't have to play Miami. I'm like looking at the ACC here, standings here. Yeah, they don't have many key matchups that will really boost them up here. So, man, I have a really hard time keeping them in B, in all honesty.
Okay. Oh, no, they're not staying in B. The question right now is C or M. Because I think they've been a massive disappointment. This is a team that was expected to win the ACC. This was a team that was expected to maybe even be a national title contender. And they've lost to Georgia Tech and almost lost to Troy. They're 1-2, 0-1 in conference.
I mean, honestly, I had higher expectations from Clemson as well. They brought in people from the transfer portal.
Finally.
For once. And I thought this was going to be their year if they were going to make any kind of splash.
They've made a splash.
No, it wasn't even a splash.
It's a splash in the toilet bowl.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. Looking at how Clemson has done the first 3 games here. Defense. I think defensively they're still solid, but offensively they're in shambles. They're in shambles. They need something. They need something of happening. So they need something to happen. So yeah, I guess the case for the M tier, first victim goes to Clemson.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, I think that's our tier list. Maybe we have a conversation about Georgia Tech, Vanderbilt, US. Just lightning round, Kyle. Do any of these teams belong in B tier? Georgia Tech, big win over Clemson. Not yet. Put them over there. Vanderbilt.
Not yet.
Couple big wins. Okay. USC.
They're undefeated.
Well,
but not
so
yet.
so are the other 2 teams.
Mm-hmm.
Auburn.
I mean, USC gets to, they get their shot in October. October is we'll find out soon about USC.
Auburn.
I can't move them up yet.
Yeah. Missouri.
No.
Okay.
Who have
Fair.
they played?
Lightning round, Kyle. Lightning round. You said no.
Yeah. No.
Okay. All right. Let's move on to the sloop picks.
All right. Before we do that, we'll take our second ad break real quick here.
All right. And we promise we're going ad free for the rest of the way. How about that?
Yes. Yep.
All right.
TheSloopcast.com is your go-to link. Again, everything and anything Sloopcast related. Mentioned a few already in our first ad. The 7071 store. I'm actually wearing one here. It just says Ohio with 7071 at the bottom there. Very, very clean, and yeah, a great everyday shirt to wear around. Lot of other cool designs that Jared has made. So definitely check that out. All any purchases help Jared and I out to keep the Sloopcast up and running. Pay for any kind of subscriptions that we have too. So yeah, if you're looking to help Jared and I out, you can head over to 7071.thesloopcast.com, pick up a t-shirt, and enjoy some nice, comfortable shirts. So you can find that link and much, much more over at thesloopcast.com. We'll take that ad break and be right back to some sloop picks.
All right, Kyle. Sloop pick scoreboard.
Yes,
Kyle takes the lead for the year on me after he beats me by one game last week. And not only that, Kyle, but you won the web picks with your 4. The entire Discord server struggled. You don't always see a 4 get the win on the web picks, and wasn't a shared win on your part either. You were alone in that. A couple people had me tied at 3.
It tells you how crazy of a weekend last weekend was.
And then we have this week's picks.
All right, first one. Texas Tech heading on over to Utah. Talked about this already earlier in this episode here. So we'll get right into it. Utah, noon kickoff, which is a 10 a.m. kickoff at Utah time zone, is a 3.5 point favorite over the Red Raiders.
Ooh. Getting fierce with that one, Kyle. Am I going first?
Doing my Madden Raiders. It was terrible. I won't do it again. But, you start us off, Jared.
I don't know why Texas Tech is even dogged in this game. I think they beat Utah handedly. I think a lot of people are sleeping on Texas Tech right now. It's time to wake up. Give me the Red Raiders.
I agree. 3.5 underdog. I think Texas Tech will win this. So yeah, I agree with Jared here.
All right. One for Kyle. And we got Duncan, who's down in the chat. He's doing our guest picks. I'll be the contraband and rake Utah. I don't know what that means. That feels like it means something, but I don't know what it is.
He's got the Utes.
Okay. As long as he's got the Utes. Okay.
All right. Next, the home team. All right. Next up here is Auburn heading on over to Oklahoma. 3:30 kickoff, and Oklahoma is a 6.5 point favorite. Man, that's nice. Glad it's not 7.5. 6.5. I feel a little bit better. I got the Sooners. To cover in this one here.
All right. I'm gonna go. Oklahoma did beat Michigan. I don't really know what that means yet. don't necessarily feel like I know who either of these teams are, so I'm just gonna take the points. I'm gonna take the dog. Give me
When in
Auburn.
doubt, Jared. When in doubt,
Take
the quarterback.
I don't particularly love either of these quarterbacks, so we have Auburn will do what they do every year. They don't buy someone a house. Give me the Sooners. Good call, Duncan.
All right. Tulane heading over to take on Ole Miss.
Yep.
We had Tulane, Jared. We had Tulane in our aids here.
We did. We moved them up.
It is your pick. It's your turn to pick here. So Ole Miss is an 11.5 point favorite in this game.
I'm not saying Tulane will win, but I think Tulane has a very decent chance at winning. So if you're going to give me 11.5 points to take them, I'm going to take them.
Yeah, I kind of struggle a little bit here, but man, I think Ole Miss found their quarterback. He looked really good again against Arkansas, but he looked pretty good, pretty accurate. And Chambliss is the name. Overall, just I think it just has better numbers than Retzlaff here, and against a little bit tougher competition too than USA and Northwestern and Duke that Tulane has played so far. But I think this might be the end of the road for Tulane here. I think as well as they've done so far, they get like I said, got the win over Duke, squeak out against US. Wow, I'm drawing a blank on the name there. Against Southern Alabama. I'll pick Ole Miss. I'll pick Ole Miss to win and cover the 11.5 points.
Duncan says, I took Ole Miss in my sloop picks, but I'm doubting that. I'll be switching later probably, but put me down for a Tulane loss, but cover. Duncan in between picks on that one. Just go with your first instinct, man. Go with your first instinct.
All right. Nebraska hosting those cheaters up north team. And those Skunk Bears are a 2.5 point favorite in this matchup. And Jared.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I gotta go with the Corn here. At home shocked. Here, you're home. Yep, shocked. Totally shocked. They've got the offense to really put Michigan on their heels. I think Michigan's going to be in it for a rude surprise. They're gonna struggle to try to figure out how to slow Nebraska down. This could be like a really high scoring game. I can see. So I will pick Nebraska to cover in this game.
I'm going to take Nebraska too. I think the key here is their defense. I think Nebraska is going to score their points. How well they can slow down the running attack of Michigan will determine this game.
And that's all they have to do is just stop the run.
Easier said than done.
It is, yeah.
I have 3 points in 2 weeks. 2 weeks. My instincts are awful. For 2 points, I picked the cheaters.
Who's this guy in our chat, Jared? Who's this guy in our chat?
Hey, he just because it's he's not saying they're going to win. He's just saying that they're the dog, and he's taking the dog. Sometimes you got to take the dog. Next game, Kyle.
All right, South Carolina and Missouri is the next one here. 7:00 kickoff, night game in Missouri. And Missouri in this matchup is a 13 and a half. Yeah, you heard me. 13.5-point favorite.
I believe that
matchup.
the current thought process is that Sellers is not going to play, which I think is why that number is as big as it is.
Yep. So who do you got, Jared?
I said it during the tier list portion of the show that I think that South Carolina is bad at football. But I'm also not like convinced that Missouri's good. 13.5 points just kind of feels like a lot, so give me the Gamecocks.
Yeah, my thoughts exactly. That's a lot of points. I think Missouri will win this one, but yeah, I'll pick South Carolina cover.
Yeah, and Duncan agrees. No clue. I haven't watched either enough, so I'll pick the underdog. I think we're all just going dog there. Dog for the sake of dog.
All right. Next up, Florida heading down the state to take on Miami. 7:30 kickoff, and the Hurricanes are a 7.5-point favorite. Now, Jared. Yeah. That is not enough points.
It's not enough points. I agree. It is not enough.
Not enough points. Florida has no offense to keep up with Miami.
This number is so low that it feels like a trap. Like I almost feel like this is a trap. We're being lured into something here, but Florida doesn't score points and Miami does nothing but score points. And it's not like Miami has been playing total cupcakes. South Florida is a very good team. They scored points against Notre Dame. Miami's played teams. I mean, I am the first one.
Florida has played teams too.
Whenever we're talking about Miami, to be like, but it's Miami. Miami always has this hype, and then Miami crashes. Who cares? Blah, 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 blah. But they've beat teams this year. They're kind of removing sometimes you give the team the benefit of the doubt, and sometimes you give them the doubt of the doubt. But they've removed the doubt for me. I'm not saying that they're going to win the national title game or anything like that, but I think they're very much a real football team right now. Duncan says in-state stuff doesn't follow logic. I pick Miami.
All right, and last up here.
By the way, I just want to state, because I just now noticed that the graphic's wrong. I have the minus on Florida. Just pointing out that the graphic's wrong. It should be a plus.
Okay.
It makes me feel better to point it out.
7:30 kickoff, Illinois, heading on over to Bloomington, Indiana, to take on the Hoosiers.
Good. That was a good.
And the Hoosiers are a 4.5-point favorite in this matchup.
This also feels like a trap. Now, I've been the first one to say, and I've said it loudly, can I use strike through fonts? Yeah, I think you have to use the tilde twice. Illinois, I've been the first to say that like Illinois is overhyped. I mean, they're ranked Kyle, number 9 right now. And we don't even have them in the A tier. Yep. I think you and I both agree that Illinois is overhyped. I think they've gotten as highly ranked as they are based off of the fact that their schedule is very easy, and that people then riled themselves up from going, oh, Illinois is kind of a sleeper in the Big Ten this year because they have a bad schedule. And then people forgot because they have a bad schedule part, and then they just kind of convinced themselves that Illinois was good.
But but to be fair, like,
yes, I'm talking
both teams. Illinois has took care of business in every game that they've played.
Yes.
Indiana had a dogfight with Old Dominion.
Yeah. Who, by the way, is not a bad football team.
No, it's not a bad football team, but they took care of teams they should have taken care of too. 56-9, 73-0.
And I'll say that Duke game for Illinois, I don't really know who Duke is. And I also say that game felt a lot closer than the final score indicated. I watched that game.
Yeah. I mean, Illinois did score a lot at the end there.
So. Yeah.
Yeah. Who do you got, Jared?
It just feels weird to me. Listen, like I said, I've been the number one pumper of the Illini breaks. Just being like, hey, everyone needs to chill down a bit on Illinois. But I have to acknowledge that I was surprised to see that Indiana was favored. So give me the Illini.
Yep. I'll pick the underdog as well. I'll pick Illinois in this one. Just because they're a 4.5 point underdog. That's the reason for me.
Yeah, I mean, in all honesty, I wouldn't know who to pick on this if it was a straight pick 'em. That's just how I feel. Like if this was just a straight pick 'em, I wouldn't know who to pick. So if you're going to give me 4.5 points, I'm going to take 4.5 points. Duncan says, I'm excited about this game. Might even make the the wife, watch this, and I think Indiana wins. Do you think that they win by 4.5 points or more? Because
that is the question. Just because they are a 4.5 point favorite, Duncan.
Was Duncan also surprised to find out that Indiana is the favorite?
Maybe.
I mean, I already messed up one thing on the graphic. Maybe he assumes I messed it up twice. I think either team runs away with it. He's calling for a momentum game.
All right. Okay. All right. So he's got the Hoosiers, Jared.
Oh, none of us ever know. We just pretend to because it makes for good podcasting. All right, Kyle, that is our Sloot Picks. One more quick segment on the show. We told you this would be an extended edition. Oh yeah. Chaos Theory. We pick an unranked team to defeat a ranked team. Kyle picked up his second Chaos Theory win already. Kyle,
in a row.
We didn't do nearly this good last year.
No, we didn't.
But there have been a lot more upsets this year. The upsets are like the September upsets were stingy last year. So it's a combination of us getting better at this, but also just the season has been very chaotic through 3 weeks. Duncan, we want you to participate in this as well. I have my team. I don't know if everyone else has their team off the top of their heads, but I'm willing to go right away. I am going with Tulane to beat Ole Miss. There's not a lot of options this week, quite frankly. Kyle, how many points is that worth?
Let me pull it up. Let's see. Tulane unranked.
Yeah.
And come on, where are you at? And
Ole Miss is 13th.
So that's
13, right? Yeah, that's.
So for my team, Jared.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to pick the 12th ranked team because I did that 2 weeks in a row. But I can't because Iowa State is on a bye week, so I can't pick. I can't
Tough
pick
break.
that. So I got to pick the next closest one.
Okay.
And I agree. There's not much choices.
You son of a bitch.
Is Kent State going to beat Florida State?
No.
Oregon State beat Oregon? no.
I want to be mad at you for also picking Tulane, but there's legitimately just not a ton of options out there.
I'm just going to pick. I'm just going to pick up some other. Georgia State beats Vanderbilt. No. Sam Houston beating Texas. No. Southeastern Louisiana beat LSU. No. You can get 1 point for Sparty beating the Trojans. If you want 1 point, maybe. The only other one, if you're really playing gutsy, Jared, the Gators upsetting Miami.
I thought about it. I did. Duncan says, I want to say Michigan State, but they suck. Vandy could fall, but I don't see them choking on a cupcake. All right. I mean, he's building up to it. He's thinking about it. He's figuring it out. He's gonna give us that answer here anytime soon. I guess South Carolina, newly not ranked, defeating number 23 Missouri. I think that's valid. I don't
3 points. That would be 3 points.
Listen, some might say that's not a lot of points, but you know what?
If you already have 0 points, get on the board. You can get on the board.
No one in chat is hit yet. So that South Carolina is too big of a word, Kyle. You said 3 points, right?
Just do SCAR.
It's fine. The actual font for when I do this permanently is smaller. It'll be fine when I put it in the spreadsheet. Sure. That just pisses me off. We'll definitely do South Car now. All right. Kyle, that's it. That's the end of the show. Do you have anything in Kyle's corner? No is an acceptable answer because that's your panic sound.
That is my panic sound because I really don't. I was thinking of things that the coaches were talking about during their press conference this morning as we're recording this on a Tuesday. Nothing really came to my mind about like, oh wow, that's something interesting to hear about, but no, nothing really. So we'll just leave it there as they have a week off to ponder what didn't go well against Ohio, especially in the red zone, and what they need to do to improve that as they head on over to their first road game the following weekend of the year.
All right. Tonight's ending music will be brought to you by, we did Mr. Gnome on Monday. I sometimes do the same band twice when we do the Wednesday, Thursday show, but we're only doing Wednesday this week. So I think I will go ahead and just play Mr. Gnome again. So with all that being said, I'd like to encourage everyone to drink local beer, listen to local music, and of course, support your local podcasters. Once again, this is Mr. Gnome.